Motives Menaces, we are back with another video. And so look, man, my motive is to help you get closer to God. Now in today's video, we're going to be talking about why it almost seems impossible to connect with God nowadays. And you see, the problem isn't you, my boy, it's the habits that you're doing. You see, it almost feels like we don't even have enough time in our day to spend time with the Most High, because we have all sorts of pleasures and entertainment. We got TikTok, Chat Snap, Instagram Reels. We got video games, movies. We listen to secular music. We give into the hub. The list goes on. We are constantly satisfying our flesh on the daily. And we spend so much time in the flesh, we don't get to spend time in the spirit, in the word, with God. And the Bible says that if you reap or sow into the flesh, you will reap destruction. Because all you get out of sowing into the flesh in some sort of way is literally nothing. Like, I'm not gonna lie. But when you spend time in the word with God, this is where you level up spiritually. This is where you can literally increase your aura. But how can you increase your aura? How can you strengthen your relationship with God if you're literally doing all these things, all these goofy habits? Like, these habits literally go against the commandments. The commandments. And in the Bible it says, if you love me, keep my commandments. But clearly, you're not listening to the commandments that God has given us. You're giving into the hub, temptation. You're giving into lust. You might have pride or this ego. You might be eating too much. That is gluttony. You may be too lazy. Like, when you're being slothful, lazy, that is also preventing you from spending time with God, because you're essentially telling yourself that you're too lazy to spend time with the Most High, that you'd rather be doing nothing than spending time with Him. Like, low-key, you might be sleeping like 25 hours a day. Like, I'm not gonna lie, when I had an effed up sleep schedule, I didn't even focus on God, because literally more than half my day was literally sleeping. But what will you get out of sleeping, right? Like, save that for the afterlife. Save that after we reach the next point in our lives. Then you can maybe get some rest. But until then, you gotta spend time in the Word. But I'm not gonna lie, I never thought about God once when I was living for the world. Like, low-key, I was like, man, I'm having too much fun. Like, I'm having so much fun going on these sites, spilling my milk all over the place. Like, I had so much fun. Like, I was getting the best pleasure the human body can experience. So why do I need God when I can literally just have fun in this life? Now, I'm not saying God doesn't want you to have fun in this life. No. But what I'm saying is, you gotta get right with Him first. And in order to do that, you gotta stop doing these secular, goofy activities. Like, we often refer God as the Father. And so if you loved your Father, you would keep His commandments. You would follow His rules, right? Like, if you truly loved your dad, you would follow his rules, right? And so obviously, we gotta follow these rules, because when we start to break these rules, the commandments, this is where our life starts to go downhill. And suddenly, oh, you wonder where God is. My boy, God has been there the whole time. He's just waiting for you to let Him in. He is literally waiting at your doorstep right now, waiting for you to open up that door, to let Him into your home, let Him into your life. But obviously, He's not going to barge into your home. He's not going to forcefully make you love Him, right? Because you can't force love upon anyone. But in order to feel His love, we have to accept it. But how can we accept God's love if we haven't even accepted our own love, self-love? And you see, these goofy habits that we do on the daily literally block that self-love. It blocks us from experiencing that self-love. Like, look at pornography. Like, that's an addiction that literally blocks self-love, because you're getting fake GMO stinky love. Yeah, you think you're experiencing love with another partner, when in reality, you're literally trapped in your dark, stinky room, literally using your hand to fake the motion of the ocean. You are literally using your hand as a replacement to that partner that you should be having love and an intimate connection with. And so it's kind of sad. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, we literally trick ourselves into thinking we're reproducing with another partner, when in reality, We're literally looking at pixels changing on a screen and literally depleting our life force to it. And this gets really dark because this is exactly what the enemy wants you to do. And this is exactly what the Bible warns us to not do. Because it says in the Bible, if you look at a woman with lust, you've committed adultery in your heart. So low-key, you are literally committing 100,000% lust by looking at these sites, watching this content, and you're literally giving into that lust. But we gotta abstain from that lust or give in and bust. The choice is yours. Because one of my friends at work today, they were like, I can't experience real love unless it's from having pleasure from another woman. But then my other coworker, he was like, bro, what? That's not love, that's lust. And I was like, yeah, like there's a difference between lust and love. Like low-key, if you're just having that hey, just to have it, just for the fun, and not actually building a relationship and an intimate connection with that person, you're low-key wasting your time, I'm not gonna lie. Because not only are you hurting yourself, y'all rebuke that car in Jesus' name, you're not only hurting yourself, but you're also hurting the other person. Because now, it says in the Bible, like, if you were to perform that act, the sex, then that's two bodies coming into one. And so, right now, what you're doing is not only you're breaking that relationship or that connection that you guys could be having, but now you gotta live with the thought that, dang, like, low-key, I was becoming one with this woman, and now I'm never gonna see her in my life. Now she's just gonna be some, like, side character. And now that woman is also going to have to deal with that as well. Because if someone else were to be her partner, she's going to have to lie about it. She's going to have to lie and say, like, she's going to lie to the other person. And she's going to be like, yeah, I've never been in a relationship, when you were literally inside her. Pause. And this is just one of many ways we break God's commandments. Hey, yo, I just got a notification from my Bible app. It literally says, and we know that we are of God, and the whole world lieth in wickedness. Basically meaning that if you live for the world, if you're going to continue living for the world, you're going to be in that wickedness. That's why we got to spend time in the Word. We got to spend time with God. And I'm not going to lie, one of the biggest lies that is in the Christian community and the non-Christian community, like so many people believe this, and that is that you got to go to church in order to build your relationship with God, in order to be a good person. But that's literally a lie. Like, I'm not saying that it's not good to go to church. No, it's good to go to church. But you shouldn't just go to church only to talk to God. You can literally talk to God anywhere. Like, I was literally talking to God at work for hours. And it literally says in the Bible, go into your room in secret and pray to your Father, and He will hear you. So think of it as like you literally have a phone, right? And you can literally call up God at any time. You don't have to be at a certain place to call someone, right? I mean, unless you don't got service. But imagine you had service around the whole world. You had like some 10G Wi-Fi, right? And so obviously you can literally call God at any time. And you can literally talk to Him at any time. But so many people choose not to call God. They choose to get distracted by this world. And then, suddenly you don't have time. You don't have time. Oh yeah, I didn't have time today. Well, what happened to that time, that 10 hours of scrolling on TikTok? What happened to that time of goofing off? You were playing video games. You know, you were binge watching anime. Like, low-key, I don't even binge watch anime like that, because I'm not gonna lie, like, anime, I'm not saying it's demonic or from the enemy, but what I'm saying is that if you're gonna literally, like, use up all your time just to watch anime, like, low-key, you gotta stop watching anime. Because low-key, this is distracting you from building your relationship with the Most High. Because we gotta spend time, right? That's the best thing. That's the number one thing we gotta do, is spend time with the Lord. You know, the most valuable thing in this world is time. And so by giving our time to God, we are showing to Him that we value Him. But when we don't give time to God, when we give time to our fleshly desires, we are telling God that our desires are above Him. Because these things that you put so much time into, these celebrities, these things that you idolize, they low-key become your God. Because now you're essentially telling God that you value these things over Him. Like, you can't even spend, like, you can spend hours a day listening to music, playing video games, but you won't even give a minute to God. Like, imagine that the creator of this universe, literally the creator of everything, the creator of you and me, the creator of this grass, this nature, this tree, we don't even give a minute to him, to thank him, to appreciate this life that he's gifted us. Like, the chances of us, me and you, being here at this very moment is literally greater than any lottery, than probably all the lotteries in the world combined. And yet we don't even give thanks to him. And so how do you think God feels about that? He obviously feels a little saddened, right? Maybe betrayed, maybe a little bit jealous. It literally says in the Bible that our God is a jealous God. And so right now, God is like, dang, like low-key, like I've been here this whole time. I've blessed you this life, and yet you won't even thank me? Like, low-key, if your father were to give you these blessings and you never showed like gratitude, you never even said thank you to him, like low-key, he's gonna feel a little saddened. He's gonna have a little guilt. Like, I'm not gonna lie, he's gonna be like, dang, like I low-key born this son into this world. I gave him these gifts, and yet he doesn't even thank me? The fuck? And so we are cheating on Jesus whenever we spend time in the world, whenever we spend time with the enemy, whenever we sin. Like, imagine like you're in a relationship, right? You're in a relationship with Jesus, but then suddenly you get a text from your ex, and that's the enemy, that's the devil. And he's gonna be like, oh yeah, you know, we could go out to the club, you know, we could maybe party, we could drink, we could do all these like secular activities, maybe go to like some crazy concert promoting some like devilish music. Oh yeah, we could do all of that. That sounds fun, right? And obviously you're gonna be like, you know what? Yeah, that sounds fun, right? Like, I'm low-key having fun doing that, right? And so you're gonna go back into your worldly ways and betray Jesus. And so how do you think that makes him feel? Like, this is a relationship. This is a thing that you're supposed to be one-on-one with. You shouldn't be cheating on him, right? But you're currently cheating on him for the world. You are telling God that you'd rather spend time in the world rather than spend time with him. I'm not gonna lie, I struggle with this too on the daily. Like, I struggle to spend time with the Lord. Like, I'm not perfect. Like, I may portray myself as this like perfect Christian YouTuber, but I also have my fair share of struggles. And that's why we gotta be more obedient to the Lord. Hey, I'm gonna make another video on this. And I probably did make a video on this already, but we gotta spend time and be more obedient to the Lord. Because the more obedient you are to him, the more blessings you're gonna receive. And so before you leave this video, I want you guys to at least remove one activity you know you could stop doing. Whether it's going on the hub, whether it's eating Hershey Kisses and donuts, whether it's watching like movies or Netflix, whether it's scrolling on TikTok for 7 hours a day. Low-key, stop doing these activities and replace them with reading the Bible, with spending time in prayer, with literally communicating with God. Because this way you can actually level up that relationship, because now you're choosing him over your fleshly, worldly, stinky, goofy activities. Yeah. And so y'all already know the motive. We gotta rebuke the kingdom of darkness and embrace the kingdom of righteousness. I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. Stay blessed, stay wealthy, and remember to keep surpassing your limits. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.